Hi everybody, this is Professor Emily Borda talking to you about OneNote, and I'm going to start from scratch and show you how to access OneNote from Western's homepage, but note that there are also links to OneNote on Canvas. So from Western's homepage, you will want to click on My Western and then Office 365. Once you get there, you'll see all the Office 365 apps over here on the left. There's a couple ways to get to OneNote. The first is just to click on the OneNote app, and you should see your notebook pages here. And if you don't see anything there, then try this. Go to OneDrive, and once OneDrive comes up, you will see a Class Notebooks tab. And you'll see your notebooks there as well. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Science Ed 201. And there are a number of things that I can see that you can't see in your notebook. Obviously, the teacher only part is something that only I can see. And also, all these students' names on the left here are something only I can see, only the teacher can see. You will be able to see your notebook there, but not anybody else's notebook. Okay, so let's look at the different features of OneNote. First thing that you'll want to notice is the content library. If you click on that, so these are basically different tabs in your notebook. That's how you can picture them. And then within the tabs, there are different pages. So right now, there's 3 pages in the content library. And this is where I am going to put things like worksheets, activities, quizzes, exams, things like that. And basically, the way that we're using OneNote is as a workbook. So anything that is that I want you to write into, like a worksheet, is going to be delivered on OneNote because it's the easiest way to do that. So the first thing that I want you to look at is workbook. If you're in Science Ed 201 right now, you will have these pages that show you the different workbook activities. If you're in another class, that's fine. You'll have other activities, but it works the same way. So you can picture the content library as basically the file cabinet of activities. For the class, you're not going to be able to write into anything that's in the content library, but you can copy and paste pages into your own notebook from the content library. You shouldn't have to do that regularly because either I, myself, or the TA will be distributing things to your notebook. But if you lose a page or if you want to start over, then you can always come back to the content library and copy and paste stuff from there. So let's go to a student notebook, and for Science Ed 201, you'll see different tabs. Again, the one that you're going to most want to look at is the workbook because that's going to have all your activities in it. And right now, we haven't really distributed any of those activities except for one of them to your workbooks, and that's fine because we're going to be working through them one at a time. If you click on this activity, for Science Ed 201, they're all going to look like this with this header at the top that says what activity or what lesson it is. And it's going to have a purpose and a question and initial ideas section and so forth. There's a couple things that I want you to see. First of all, for Science Ed 201, I've been putting notes from instructor to kind of make this as self-explanatory as possible, to kind of show you the different features of the curriculum, to correct things that aren't correct, like there's an incorrect link to a video down there, etc. And so I'm trying to make this as self-explanatory as you can, so please read those when you encounter them. They're going to become less and less frequent as you get more and more familiar with these activities. There are places where you need to write answers to questions in this notebook. And it's very easy. This is, again, why we're using OneNote. All you do is you double click, and it's going to give you a text box. Sometimes the text box does not appear where you double clicked, and you're going to need to move it. And that's fine. You can do that. And then you just type. this is my answer. Okay. You can also delete that, which I will do because I'm currently in a student's workbook. So just hit the delete button and it goes away. Other ways that you can interact with the notebook are, if you hit the draw tab, you can draw with your mouse like that. Okay, I'm going to undo that. And you can do things like highlight and erase, and you can use a pencil and things like that. If you have a touch screen, then you can use your finger or a stylus to draw or write in there as well. I'm going to go back to the top of the page here. The other thing to notice is you have access to, let me go back to the selector here, good. You have access to the entire PDF file in this document. Sometimes you'll have access to a Word file as well. So if you don't enjoy working on OneNote, if you find it easier to print it out and write with a pen and paper, you can absolutely do that. All you need to do is, well, you should be able to download this by double clicking. There we go. So you can download it, and then you can have it, you save the file wherever you want to. Note that the curriculum materials for Science Ed 201 are also on Canvas, so that there's a couple different places you can find them. If you can try to use OneNote, at least for the first activity, and see how it works for you, that would be great, because what OneNote can do is it can allow us to see your work, the teaching team to see your work. I will see everything that you as a student write into your OneNote workbook, and I can annotate it and give you feedback as well. Chances are, most of the time, I'll annotate and give feedback in Canvas when you turn things in, but it's nice to have access to your notebooks here too, so that I can see all your work, especially for an online class, if you want to show me something. So that is basically how to navigate OneNote. Every once in a while, I'm going to ask you to turn something that you did in OneNote into Canvas. And in order to do that, you are going to have a way to print it out virtually as a PDF. And so in order to do that, you're going to go to the File menu. You're going to hit Print and print this page. And it'll give you the option of actually printing it out on a printer, or you can save it as a PDF. That's what I would like you to do. Go ahead and save it as a PDF, and it should give you the option of renaming it. It works best if your last name is in that file name somewhere, and that way I can keep track of things. I'm going to cancel that. Okay. And then once you go to Canvas, then you just find that PDF, and I will make an assignment for you to turn it into. You'll simply upload it to that assignment. Okay, so that's basically it for OneNote. Actually, there's one more thing that I'd like to show you, a couple more things that I'd like to show you. Back in either the Content Library workbook or your own workbook, you'll see this page. This is specific to 201, Science Ed 201. That's linked to movies and simulations. That is going to give you, this is basically a link to the Next Gen PET website that shows you every simulation and movie that you might use. The extensions, which we will use in class, are also on there. And so that's just a convenient location for them. This link, you'll also find it on Canvas if you prefer working from Canvas. There's also this tab called OneNote Help. And there's 3 pages, at least so far, that I've put in there. The first page is what's on OneNote and what's on Canvas. Because you will be navigating these 2 platforms, this is kind of a helpful guide for that. And so go ahead and read that. This turning stuff in part is a synopsis of what I just told you about printing something out as a PDF and then turning it into Canvas. And then What I discovered the first time I used OneNote in this way is that it's disturbingly easy to delete a whole page of your workbook if you're not careful. The reason is because sometimes you'll think you'll have a text box selected, but you'll actually have the whole page selected. And if you look at this image, you'll see there's a little gray selector box around this page. If I had that page selected and I hit delete, thinking I was deleting a text box or something like that, then I would delete a whole page. If I notice I've done that right away, I could just hit undo and it'll bring it back, or Control Z if you want to use the hotkeys to bring it back. If that doesn't work, don't fret. You have the content library. So you can go to the content library, find that page that you accidentally deleted, select it, and then you can right click and copy it. And then you can make a new page in your notebook. So the way you make anybody can make a new page in their own notebook. Do it under workbook. Use this plus page down at the bottom. Make a new page and copy that, that page in there. Paste that page in there. Okay? And so it'll be out of order. It won't be with the rest of your workbook, but at least you'll have that page titled so that you can find it and it's you can get it back that way. Finally, there's this OneNote walkie. This is also on Canvas, so I have it in a couple of places, that Kevin Dixie from ATOS made for my class the first time I used OneNote. And this is a helpful guide. So if you want to know more about how OneNote works, if you're having problems, go here first and see if you can figure out what the issue is and how to use OneNote better. And if you still have questions, don't hesitate to email your instructor. That's it. Thank you.